पूरी तिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभम् नासाग्रे नवमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुम् करे कंकणो सर्वांगे हरिचंदनं सुललितो कंठे च मुक्तावलिं गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपाल चूड़ामणि राधे 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 गोविंदा 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 राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंदा वृंदावन चंदा अनाथनाथा दीना बंधो राधे गोविंदा 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 नंद कुमारा नवनीत चोरा राधे गोविंदा नंद कुमारा नवनीत चोरा राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंदा अनाथनाथा दीना बंधो राधे गोविंदा 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 भक्तवत्सल भागवत प्रिय राधे गोविंदा भक्तवत्सल भागवत प्रिय राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंदा अनाथनाथा दीना बंधो राधे गोविंदा 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 पंढरीनाथा पांडुरंगा राधे गोविंदा पंढरीनाथा पांडुरंगा राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंदा अनाथनाथा दीना बंधो राधे गोविंदा 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 राधे 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 गोविंदा राधे 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 गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथा दीना बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथा दीना बंधो राधे गोविंदा राधे 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 गोविंदा आत्मा रामानंद रमण रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण अच्युत केशव हरि नारायण अच्युत केशव हरि नारायण आत्मा रामा आनंद रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण अच्युत केशव हरि नारायण अच्युत केशव हरि नारायण भवभय हरण वंदित चरण भवभय हरण वंदित चरण भवभय हरण वंदित चरण भवभय हरण वंदित चरण रघुकुल भूषण राजीव लोचन रघुकुल भूषण राजीव लोचन आदिनारायण अनंत शयन आदिनारायण अनंत शयन सच्चिदानंद श्री सत्यनारायण सच्चिदानंद श्री सत्यनारायण आदिनारायण अनंत शयन आदिनारायण अनंत शयन सच्चिदानंद श्री सत्यनारायण सच्चिदानंद श्री सत्यनारायण आत्मा रामानंद रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण आत्मा रामानंद रमण वनमाली राधा रमण गिरिधारी गोविंद 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 नीलमेघ सुंदर नारायण गोविंद नीलमेघ सुंदर नारायण गोविंद वनमाली राधा रमण गिरिधारी गोविंद वनमाली राधा रमण गिरिधारी गोविंद भक्त हृदय मंदारा भानुकोटि सुंदरा 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 नंदनंदन गोपवृंद नारायण गोविंद नंदनंदन गोपवृंद नारायण गोविंद नंदनंदन गोपवृंद नारायण गोविंद नंदनंदन गोपवृंद नारायण गोविंद 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 वनमाली राधा रमण गिरिधारी गोविंद श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि तेरी लीला सबसे प्यारी न्यारी हरि हरि तेरी लीला सबसे प्यारी न्यारी हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जपो नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जपो नारायण नारायण हरि हरि लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि पृथ्वी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि पृथ्वी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि बोलो नारायण नारायण हरि हरि बोलो नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि 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 ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण ओम नमो नारायण ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि सत्यनारायण नारायण हरि हरि सत्यनारायण नारायण हरि हरि सूर्य नारायण नारायण हरि हरि सूर्य नारायण नारायण हरि हरि बोलो नारायण नारायण हरि हरि बोलो नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि बद्री नारायण नारायण हरि हरि बद्री नारायण नारायण हरि हरि ब्रह्म नारायण नारायण हरि हरि ब्रह्म नारायण नारायण हरि हरि भजमन नारायण नारायण हरि हरि भजमन नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण हरि 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 ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण
Hari Om everyone, welcome to the day 3 of the Narada Bhakti Sutra Yajna by Swami Prakashanandaji. While you are enjoying the session, please display your full name when you log in, your first name, last name, dash your location. Keep your video on the entire time so that Swamiji can see you and also for security reasons. Use the speaker view to have the best experience and stay on mute during the lecture to reduce disturbance. Please don't scroll through the screens during the lecture, and also please don't walk around with your camera turned on. Okay, if you have questions to Swamiji, which will be answered on the last day, you can, if any questions arise in your mind after this session, you can email it to yajna@chinmaya-atlanta.com. Questions during the session, you can use the chat option and send it directly to me, and I will make sure that Swamiji gets the questions. And the session, Zoom session will end after Swamiji does the closing prayers for the day. Hari Om. Narayana 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 Narayana.
Om Shri Shanti. Shri Saraswati Namaha. Shri Gurudeva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayana Hari Narayana 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 Lakshmi Narayana. Narayana, Lakshmi Narayana. Narayana, Lakshmi Narayana. Narayana, Shriman 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 Narayana. Om Narayana, Shriman Narayana. Hari Narayana, Lakshmi Narayana, Shriman Narayana, Shriman Narayana. Vaikuntha Bhagavan Narayana ki jai. Okay. Welcome to all of you, all Atlantites, all people from Atlanta, and Alpharetites. I don't know if you call like that. But, and to all of those who are listening from other places, we are seeing Narada Bhakti Sutra. Last night somebody asked about this sutra and all. I had told them maybe they missed out some part of the conversation or the lecture. There's Jnana Marga and there's Bhakti Marga, basically. And the Jnana Marga, the Prasthana Traya is Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and Brahma Sutras. Means, well, last night when I went back to the room, I got this question. In North Indian tradition of Bhakti, there is a different Prasthana Traya. Ramcharita Manas, Bhagavatam, and Narada Bhakti Sutra, like that. Okay, so I was just telling. So we are seeing from this Prasthana Traya in Bhakti Marga, we are seeing now that Sutra, which is Narada Bhakti Sutra. Okay. So for those who are joining tonight, we are seeing this most wonderful, these aphorisms, little threads given by the great Devarishi Narada. Now, we said yesterday that there is supreme devotion, Parama Prem, supreme love for Bhagavan. But that thing is what we read about. We don't feel a supreme love for reality or self and all that. No, nobody feels. We read that. We study, we hear about, we listen and all. That is also good. But there has to be some sadhana, spiritual practices, means to reach that state or to attain that state. So in this section now, which we started last night, okay, chapter 3, section 1, in Puja Gurudev's, well, my edition here, I have maybe 1959 edition. I don't know which edition you have. Same thing in the new edition? Anybody else? Chapter 3, section 1. These are the sadhanas. Same. New one. This new, oh, nice book. Nice colorful book, huh? Okay. So the first sadhana listed now by our Naradji, and this I told also that you will see sadhanas are really focusing on the mind. All sadhanas focus on the mind because mind is the cause for bondage and the cause for mukti also, right? So we have to focus on mind only. So all sadhanas are centered on mind only. Hmm. Even when we do yoga, when we do all those postures and different people who twist their bodies in different directions and all that, yoga, that also is to bring great sthiratva to the mind. All right. So the sadhanas, whether it is bhakti marg or jnana marg, doesn't matter. It will be focusing on mind only, developing all the great qualities of the mind and all that. So now here we saw yesterday number 35, the first two sadhanas which are listed there. What is that? Vishaya Tyaga and Sanga Tyaga. This very common. So this Vishaya Tyaga and Sanga Tyaga. In sadhana, there are two types. It's characterized as two types. What is? Things which we do and things which we avoid. What's a negative sadhana and positive sadhana? Like it is a sadhana also to avoid kusanga. I should stay away from, because people have a habit of staying in kusanga, bad company. You see, find myself in the wrong place with the wrong people and all of that. People love those things, so it's to stay away also. Or Tulsidaji writes in Ramachi should be mitabhogi, means I should eat less. No. So I would stay away from all the nice food. Swadvannam natu. So this is to stay away. This is one type of sadhana, stay away from this and giving up that the negative thing. Then there's something to do, something positive. So last night what we saw, giving up. Now something to do. Now this is number 36. See that, how small but how important. Number 36, you please try to repeat those words. Avyavrita bhajanat.
Avyavrita bhajanat.
Avyavrita bhajanat.
Avyavrita bhajanat.
So fifth case is given. Fifth case in Sanskrit is called as causal. Causal means what it's called, because of that, by that, through that, due to that, like that. One by one. Avyavrita bhajana. Avyavrita bhajana. By that avyavrita bhajana, through that, because of that, one will reach the state. That is the idea. Huh? So, avyavrita bhajana. What is this? Bhajana and avyavrita. Avyavrita means constant, never refraining from. Avyavrita, never turning away from. Never turning away from what? Bhajana. Bhajana. And this bhaj word in Sanskrit is a big word. And all of you are familiar with this word. We know it very well. Correct or not? Because if you belong to Chinmay Mission, which all of you are, you go on singing it. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Muramate. Bhaja, Bhaja, Bhaja. So bhajana, bhaj word, bhaj dhatu in Sanskrit means to worship, bhaj means to serve, bhaj means to adore, bhaj means all sorts of meanings like that. Huh? So Puja Gurudev's translation here, which meaning he chooses is tender and loving service. Service to Bhagavan. This is for bhaj. Continuous. Huh? Through continuous, tender and loving service. By continuous service, loving service to Bhagavan, we'll reach that state. That Lord. So now see, where are we at this stage? Look here. What we spoke about in beginning is the most exalted definition of bhakti, but nobody is there. We are very well fixed, lodged in a duality. And you may call yourself a big Vedanti and this and that, but you are a pakka dualist. How? Because all of us have Dehatma Buddhi, isn't it? That I am this body. So as long as that is there, well, I'm fully well lodged and fixed in a nice feeling of duality. And I may have a lot of intellectual arguments in my mind and all that, I am not the, I'm not a small being and in any way affected by duality. I am Brahman and this and that. But that is what we say intellectually. What we feel is a different thing altogether. How you know? Well, the next person just has to take a pin and prick you like that. They will know fast. You never say, oh, I pricked myself. No such thing. Immediately, if you live in America, you want to sue that person now, you know. Why you did that? If you live in Trinidad or in India, you give one or some such thing, some response. But here, what is being spoken about is for the ordinary bhakta or ordinary bhakta. The ordinary bhakta understands himself to be a bhakta and there is Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is there and I am here. So what does bhakta has to do? Yes, understand this is the Lord, this is the Lord of the universe who is Sarva Shaktiman, all powerful, Sarvagnya, all knowing. He's Sarva Vyapi, all pervasive, like that. This much he understands, right? And it is that Lord who sustains me every moment of my existence. That Lord is the one who provides me with everything. So that type of feeling which it is there, then constantly worshipping, glorifying, serving that Lord. That is the idea. So avyavrita bhajana, this is called constantly worshipping and serving the Lord. And this is utilized very much in our karma yoga. Karma yoga. Karma yoga means my work should be worship. Have you heard that thing? My work should be worship in a very ordinary language. My work should be worship. Meaning what? That whatever I'm doing, I do it in dedication to that higher power in the universe. That higher being, the being who sustains every iota of my being. So I do it in dedication. Gurudev says, do it and dedicate it to a higher altar. This is the idea. And that is how my work will become worship. I dedicate it to the Lord. So avyavrita bhajana. And every action thereafter should be made into a worship, a form of worship. See, you are there in the home, you're cooking for the children. So the children should be understood to be the children of Bhagwan only. So I'm cooking for these children. This is my service to Bhagwan because I am taking care of his children. Then there's a whole big society outside. I'm going to work and I'm producing, let us say I'm producing something, computer chip. So you go to work and you're producing computer chips, let us say. So these computer chips will leave your place of work and it will go all over the world and serve all people everywhere, isn't it? Because every little phone will have a little chip. And rickshaw wala in Mumbai also will be talking, his little chip is there in his. So you are serving all of humanity. What happens usually to the human being is we go to our job there and we are only thinking about dollars and cents. That is the only thing that makes sense. Dollars and cents. So I will calculate and I get this much and I make this much per year and then I spend this much here and this much here and in in that whole calculation, there's always the competition with the other person next door or the other friend or the circle in which I am and how I'll measure up. And so many complex things are there in our mind. And in all of that, where is dedication to Bhagwan? Means Bhagwan in all his manifestations in this world. I don't think that I'm doing this work for Bhagwan like that. So there's no dedication. That is called labor. I'm selling my labor for something in return. This is a very poor state of existence. I think I read this in Bhagwan Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. The 3 fellows were building a temple, you know. So one Mahatma was passing. So he asked, what are you guys doing? Not guys, and Mahatma don't say guys and all, but I'm just telling like that. What are you guys doing? So the first one said, well, I am working like a dog. This is a Trini phrase. I don't know, it might be American phrase also. I am working like a dog, means to say he sees this thing as pure labor only. Next one, I am working to take care of my family. And last one, when he asked, what are you doing? He said, I am building a house for the Lord of the universe. Now see, all 3 are doing same work. But what differs? What differs is their vision. What differs is their attitude. What differs is the way they see what they are doing. And that is what is important in all action. The moment I'm able to see whatever I'm doing for the Lord and his universe, my work becomes worship. Prior to that, it is pure labor. I'm taking care of me and mine. I'm not taking care of anybody else. It's all labor only. So work also can become worship. And when this is heightened to its greatest pitch, this becomes great devotion to Bhagwan. And it should be done constantly. Now see, this constantly means what? People say, Swamiji, I should go on saying Ram, Ram, Ram. Yes, constantly. I should go on thinking about Ram. Yes, constantly. But then how I will do my work? You will say like that. I tell you, a human being is like this. If you tell him to do anything good, he has 100 reasons why he cannot do it or should not do it. If you tell to do anything good. If you tell to do anything bad, he says, only now you told. No, only what is like you tell, come, let us go there. Maracas Beach. Huh? You know, here in Trinidad, a very famous beach is there, Maracas Beach. Chalo, Maracas Beach chalenge. Wahan kya karenge? What we'll do there? He never asked this fellow. The moment you say Maracas Beach, he is ready to go. You tell, chalo, उधर सत्संग हो रहा है, एक स्वामी जी आगे आया, सत्संग हो रहा है उधर, let's go there, satsang is happening there. Now he'll, what time it starts? 8 o'clock. Oh, what time it will finish? 9:30. 1.5 hours. Hare Rama. Acha, chalo, I will do, at the end there'll be food. Yeah, there'll be food. Especially here in Trinidad. He'll ask all of these questions. I'll go. I'll come with you. He'll have food at the end. Can I sit in the back? Yes, you can sit in the back. If I sleep, nobody will get angry, no? Oh, he tells satsang, all sorts of reasons he'll have for not doing it or some such thing. Why he should do it? Any other thing. So say this human psyche is like this, right? It's from childhood, from birth. You tell the child, sit and do this sadhana. He'll have 100 reasons why he should not do it. So this all human beings are like this only. So now, Same thing when we say all the time, chant the name of Bhagwan, all the time remember Bhagwan, all the time like that. Huh? Because Avyavrita, the word is given all the time. Then you say, you tell him, do this thing. Immediately he'll find 100 reasons why he cannot or should not do it. But Swamiji, if I'm driving and I'm saying Ram, 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 I may not see the traffic light, He finds it. So what you're telling is not practical thing. He'll tell like that. Stand Ram, Ram, Ram. I'll not see the traffic light. I'll not see this other car coming because my mind is on Ram. Arey bhaiya, you just think little bit. In any case, when you are driving, you are thinking all sorts of rubbish. You're correcting. And you still see the traffic light that time also. Mind is going everywhere thinking all useless thing. And we see the traffic light and we see everything. That same person, which he's driving, what? You'll see him in Delhi or Mumbai. What is it? He's driving a Maruti something car. Then Mari Singh has 5 forward gears. Tick, shift. So he's pressing accelerator. He's pressing clutch, pressing brakes, changing gears, turning steering wheel, putting on indicators, this, that, right? All of these things he's doing at the same time. Arey, Bombay wala, that's at the same time he also has there thumbs up and moonfully. And he eating moonfully and drinking thumbs up and doing all of these things. He's able to do so many things at the same time. But if you tell chant Ram, no, how I'm driving. He finds something amiss in my statement. But he's doing all the other things. And nowadays also, then he has this, what do you call that? Huh? Bluetooth. Yes, he has a Bluetooth. And the microphone there, and it's listening and Bluetooth, and he's talking and drinking and eating. See now, how many things he does. But you tell to do something good, something beneficial, something that will lift his spirit, something that will broaden his embrace of this universe and God and all. Tell him to do anything good like that. He has so many excuses he cannot do. And he'll come up with all sorts of argumentation. No, not possible, not practical. You're telling me to do something that will endanger my life. All sorts of arguments he will have. But if and for useless things he does. This is a human mind. I'm not saying any particular person. All human mind is like this. We just find different creative ways to do the same thing. So, Avyavrita word has sound meaning. Bhagavan says all the time to chant the name, all the time to think of him, all the time to remember him. That sound meaning that we should not come up with arguments that the mind, actually we become a victim to our own mind because it comes up with all these foolish arguments. So, Avyavrita bhajana, constant worship, remembrance, all sorts of things, service. Because if I'm working for Bhagavan, I have to remember I'm working for the Lord all the time. Otherwise, my mind will slip into something. I'm working for my, bank account. So constant remembrance. Avyavrita. Okay. Now, then, next one. And this so aptly is given by the great sage for all people who are living ordinary lives. See, number 37. Lokepi Bhagavad Guna Shravana Kirtanat Lokepi Bhagavad Guna Shravana Kirtanat. So here now it tells 2 more things. What and it is given specifically for people who live in the world. Lokepi, those who are living in the world. In means while engaged in all my worldly activities and duties and all things that I am engaged in on a daily basis. While there also, Lokepi, even though working in the world, living in the world, and interacting with all the worldly things. Says, Bhagavad Guna Shravana Kirtana. In our Bhagavad Puran, the 9 forms of devotion are given there. This is the first 2. We say by Upalakshana means all of them. The first 2, the sage indicates the first 2. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyan Ityadi is given there. So this is first Shravanam Kirtanam. So Shravanam means by Shravanam I will develop devotion for the Lord. What is Shravanam now? Shravanam means listening. And see, this Shravanam is a very, very important thing. So important. See, if you just do a little bit of study of history, you will see that in our tradition, we have had many, many, many blind saints. You know, the great Suradash, he was blind. You know that. Some years ago, I had visited a place in Nagpur, Maharashtra, Nagpur. And there I had seen a blind sage. That sage, even though blind, he had memorized all the Vedas. He had the Vedas in his head by memory only. Because in his time, there was no such thing as Braille and this and that or whatever. So then he memorized this whole thing from by what? What means? Shravanam only, isn't it? By listening. So this listening is a very, very important thing in spiritual path. Once a person can hear, spirituality is easy to achieve. But hearing is there. If you don't need all other faculties, and hearing is enough. And that's why it's in Jnanmar, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shravanam there also. Yeah, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. In Bhakti Marg, still Shravanam. Very, very important. If the person cannot hear, this spiritual path is very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. So it is such a powerful thing. When the sage says like this, he is actually pressing a point which is very familiar to all forms of spirituality. That's called as Shravanam. And here in the Caribbean and all, in our Caribbean countries, when parents have to scold children, what is the matter with you? You can't hear or what? First thing they'll tell. They don't tell you, what is the matter with you? You can't see. That is not so common. What is the matter with you? You can't hear. It's like, oh, by his hearing, we learn so many countless things. So now, listening to what? Bhagavad Guna. Bhagavad Guna means what? Listening to all the qualities and traits and characteristics and glories and all such things of Bhagavan. That is the idea. Huh? So listening is one thing, but you have what to listen to. Otherwise, nowadays, I don't know what is happening to all of the music and all of the stories and all of the movies and everything. It seems to be degenerating into really bad things. So among these things in the world that you can listen to also, you have to make choices. I can listen to so many various types of things. But here, Bhagavad Guna, the Guna qualities of the Lord. What qualities of the Lord? How see Bhagavan Ram, see Bhagavan Shri Krishna, what all qualities they had. So to listen to that. Ram Katha. See, in the beginning of Ramayana, Tulsidas talks in pages and pages on Ram Katha. Ram Katha means the glories of Ram. Listening to the glories of Ram. So that some people say, Swamiji, not available. I don't have choice to listen. Nowadays, that is no excuse. Because now everything is on YouTube. You can listen the whole day. Then another one, Trinidad, will say, no, no, Swamiji, yes, I can listen to Ram Katha whole day on YouTube, but it is not in English. Sab kuch Hindi mein hai. Everything is in Hindi. Now I can understand the words, so again I cannot listen. Just still don't make any excuse. There are countless lectures on English also. Huh? So no excuse should be there. That's told you, the mind is very good at making up excuses. I cannot listen. You don't want to listen. That is the thing. And a busy person has time for everything. See, please remember that busy people have time for everything. The one who is lazy, he doesn't have time. He only has time for sleeping. So, Shravanam, listening to the glories in how many various forms now, huh? But best is what? Best is live, in-person listening, not online. That is second best. In-person is best. So, when we cannot get the best, then what? We settle for second best. That is okay. So we listen in this way. And just now it will come also. We'll go and listen from saints and sages and Mahatmas and all that. Sangha. So anyway, this is listening, and the choice of what to listen is a very, very big thing. I must have that strength of mind to choose to listen to the proper thing, proper music, proper all such things. Otherwise, the mind can easily go. Then Shravanam, Kirtanam. The next one is Kirtanam. So one is listening, and the other one is now singing. Hearing and singing, Puja Gurudev says. Singing is glorious. So not some people say, no, no, Swamiji, my voice is like a frog. I can't sing, but I can croak very well. But don't worry. Bhagwan is the one who made croaking. So then why you were croak also? Otherwise, what happens is we think singing is to please other people. But Bhagwan loves croaking also. In our Tapovan ashram, you should come in there and hear the frogs croak. You have to experience 1,000,000 frogs croaking simultaneously in a wonderful nocturnal symphony. Then you will know how beautiful it is. Bhagwan loves croaking, so don't worry. You croak. Go on chanting his name. Kirtanam. Bhagwan speaks about Kirtanam in 9th chapter of Gita also. So this word comes in Bhagavad Gita. Kirtan. Huh? All sorts of wonderful kirtans are there. Govind Krishna Hari Om, Gopal Krishna Hari Om, Govind Krishna Hari Om, Gopal Krishna Hari Om, Govind Krishna Hari Om, Radharaman Hari Om, Govind Krishna Hari Om, राधारमण हरिओ गोविंद कृष्ण हरिओ गोपाल कृष्ण हरिओ गोविंद कृष्ण हरिओ गोपाल कृष्ण हरिओ गोविंद कृष्ण हरिओ
गोपाल कृष्ण
गोविंद कृष्ण हरिओ गोपाल कृष्ण हरिओ
गोविंद कृष्ण हरिओ गोपाल कृष्ण हरिओ
There's one Amma who comes here to do seva. She does this Shravanam and Kirtanam simultaneously. She comes with her cell phone and she puts it there. And she puts on that bhajan and kirtan of Bhagwan on YouTube or something. And while that is playing, she's also singing. So she does Shravan and Kirtan at the same time. What creativity, you see? People can find very nice things, creative ways of doing things. So here it is listed as though, and we speak about it as though there are two things, but it can be done simultaneously. Huh? So he's listening to the glories of Bhagwan and singing along like that. So Bhagavad Guna Shravana Kirtana. By this, one is able also to develop this devotion for Bhagwan. Now see, what you have to do, the word avyavrita. Avyavrita. That word should be added to everything. In never turning away from this thing. All sages, all santas, they actually talk about taking a break from the spiritual path. There is no such thing. You may take a break from high school. You may take a break from university. You may take a break from your job. People like those things. You take a break from your job and you go to some place, what you call vacation. And when you come back, you need a few days to recuperate. So you may take a break from whatever it is in life, but from spirituality, there is no such thing as break. Yeah, I all this Bhagwan, I'm tired. All this bhajan, kirtan, shravanam, kirtanam, all ityadi. I'm tired. Let me take a break. And again, I'll come back. He said, Gurudev says, hey, if we come back, we have to start all over. We go back to zero each time. So no break. So the Avyavrita word means has to be added to all things, all the time. Bhagavad Guna Shravanam. Bhagavad Guna Kirtanam. Listening all the time and singing all the time. That is why Puja Gurudev is always say, if how long you have to meditate? 24/7. Anything you're doing, 24/7, not just this week I'll practice Kirtan. Then I'll take a break and I'll recuperate and then I'll practice Shravan or whichever way. No such thing, huh? No. two types of sadhanas were given. One type of sadhana, which is called negative sadhana, thing which I should leave. I drop this, leave this, stop doing that, I don't think that they're not important. And they actually, really speaking, if you think about it, two of them, you'll see leaving this, leaving that, leaving things actually is more important. Very, very important. Yogasya prathama dwaram vang nirodha, isn't it? To control the speech means what? Stop saying this, stop saying that, stop talking excessively. So many things will be there, isn't it? Vang nirodha. To stop this speaking. That's why we have Mauna camp. Last week we had a camp here, Mauna camp. Last week before that. You come here for the weekend and you Mauna. So you leave talking. This is something we dropped. Three monks were there sitting in a cave and they were meditating. And they had taken Mauna Vrat. 4 monks. They had taken Mauna Vrat. Then in the middle of that cave, they had a little lamp, oil lamp. So at one point, one monk opened his eyes and he saw that oil in that lamp was just about to get exhausted. Then he looked at the other monks, They also opened their eyes and they saw. But nobody was moving. The lamp needed oil. So this monk couldn't take it anymore. At one point, he blurted out, "Isn't anybody going to get up and put oil in the lamp?" So when he blurted out like that, remember they had Mauna Vrata. So one monk immediately, "Hey, you broke your Mauna." Second monk told to the first one, "You broke your Mauna." The third one said, "Arey, don't you know when you told him that he broke his Mauna, you broke your Mauna?" That last monk said, "I am the only one who did not break my Mauna." All talking, how to monks meditating in a cave, how difficult it is to stop that speech. So this stopping is a big thing because human beings seem to be going down like a, like a unstoppable stream, just flowing. So this stopping is a big thing actually. And if we are able to stop the mind properly, with proper guidance and all, stop the mind also, that is enough thing. Stopping it. So that type of sadhana, the negative type of sadhana, it means the non-doing. The non-doing. What is it? Not talking. Not getting attached. Not running after this thing. Vishaya tyaga. Like not. And then there is doing. Chant the name of Bhagwan. Chant the quality, listen to the qualities of the Lord and chant his name. Like that. You see? So this is the doing type. You know how wonderful it is? At some point, it all turns into non-doing. Because whatever I'm doing as a sadhana, that also will have to cease at some time. Like when our Puja Guruji is describing meditation and all, that is the highest state or the highest type of sadhana. Really, meditation is a non-doing. So Vang Nirodha. See, Yama, Niyama, all of these things, what? Restraint, isn't it? Holding back, the non-doing. All right. Anyway, so those two types of sadhanas were given. Now, Deva Rishi Naradaji tells a very nice thing. And a lot of questions will arise. So in this whole path of bhakti and in sadhana, is it all self-effort alone, or do we need the grace of the Lord or the grace of the Guru or the grace of saints? Because this is a big thing in all traditions, isn't it? I'm sure you would have heard before. The grace of the saint, the grace of the Guru and all that. That one question comes because we hear it often. So now he talks about this whole thing called as grace. And in Bhakti Marga, this grace is a very, very big topic. Grace of the Lord, grace of the Guru, grace of the Mahatmas, like that. And what exactly is this grace and all? Are we able to put our finger on this thing called grace? Now see number 38, this has to be. Yeah? Mukhyatastu Mahat Kripaya Eva
Mahat Kripaya Eva
Bhagavat Kripa Leshatva
Bhagavat Kripa Leshatva
Bhagavat Kripa
Bhagavat Kripa
Leshatva.
Leshatva.
This is two different words. Huh? Bhagavat Kripa Leshatva.
Bhagavat Kripa Leshatva.
Okay. He says, Mukhyataha. Mukhyataha means, basically speaking in English, we say primarily, like that. Basically speaking, primarily. Mukhyataha. Two, however, indeed, Mahat Kripaya Eva Bhagavat Kripa Leshatva. That in along this path of devotion, in my sadhana, I will need Mahat Kripa. Mahat Kripaya means by the grace of the great souls, great Mahatmas. By the grace of the great Mahatmas. And says Bhagavat Kripa Leshatva. And by a little bit of the grace of God. So by grace of the great souls and by grace of little bit of grace of God, I will develop this devotion, supreme devotion, what you call it? Parama Prem. So I need the grace of the great sages. And in this regard, the grace of sages, oh, there is no end to this topic in our scriptures. The grace of sages. Throughout Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, everywhere, the grace of sages is spoken about, isn't it? Tulsidaji writes at one place about having darshan of saint. See what he tells. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
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 नयन निकंत तरस नहीं देखा.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
लोचन मोर पंख कर लेखा.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
नयन निसंत दरस नहीं देखा. लोचन मोर पंख कर लेखा. Ramachandra ki jai. He tells, if we have not feasted our eyes on a saint, he said, those eyes are useless. They are like the eyes on the feather of a peacock. You see, in peacock's feather, there's an eye, but the peacock does not see anything with that eye. It is only there for beauty, perhaps, for nothing else. So the eyes is to get darshan of saints. And when we get darshan of saints like that, again in other places he said, the darshan of saint we can only get by Bhagwan's kripa only. The darshan of saints, when we get, see, just yesterday only, somebody sent a nice little clip about our Puja Gurudev meeting Bhagwan Shri Ramana Maharshi for the first time. And Gurudev has written about that. He said he went into that audience where Bhagwan was sitting there, or that place where Bhagwan was sitting. And he passed everybody and walked up to the front and he sat there. And he said, the sage, Bhagwan Shri Ramana Maharshi, opened his eyes and looked at him. And he said he felt at that moment that the sage had looked deep into his soul and had seen everything in him. And later on, after he himself went through all of his studies and teachings and all that with Swami Shivananji Maharaj and Swami Tapovanji Maharaj and all that, whatever he had done, right? He said that really he just came to understand what the sage had put inside of him just by that glance when he was mere 13 or 14. That time he had gone. So the one glance of the sage had put in him all knowledge. And then by going through all of this action, he realized that all of these studies and all things that I have done is just to realize what the sage had already put there. So like this, in the life of all great people, saints and sages, Tulsidaji begins his Ramayana by doing salutations to Ram. Then he does salutations to Ganga. And then next he does salutations to saints and sages. Like that. Sadhu, Santa Purusha. So, in the tradition, this reverence for saints, oh, there is no end to it. So he says, basically, primarily, we reach this state of supreme devotion, Parama Prem. We reach that state by the grace of saints. Mahat Kripaya Eva, by the grace of the great ones. Great souls, Puja Gurudev translates. Great souls. Binu satasanga vivek na hoi. Rama kripa binu sulabh na soi. Means without satsang, with saints and sages like that. That is what is meant. Without that type of satsang, we will never reach this state of supreme devotion. And then he says there, Bhagavat kripa leshatva, or by a little grace of Bhagwan. Or why is it given? Or so when we lot of grace of the sages and little grace of Bhagwan. Why? Puja Gurudev said, the grace of the sage is only the grace of Bhagwan. What difference is there? The grace of the Guru and the grace of the sage is the grace of Bhagwan only. Now, what is this thing called as grace? Now, let us see this thing a little bit. And When we say, I do such and such thing, then I will get the grace of Bhagwan. It appears as though Bhagwan is a shopkeeper, isn't it? So it means to say, Bhagwan is waiting. He's withholding all his grace. And if I offer this much devotion, I offer this much prayers, I offer this much whatever sadhana, then Bhagwan will release his grace. He's like a shopkeeper. If I offer 50% sadhana, he will give 50% grace. So don't understand it like this. Huh? This is a very rudimentary understanding of what grace is about. It is like this. Please see this. Huh? So Bhagwan's grace is like the sun. The sun never ceases to shine, correct? It never ceases to shine. It shines incessantly. Yes. Sometimes a cloud may come and stand over my head, and so it blocks off the sun. Or I hold an umbrella and I block off the sun. But any cloud coming there or any umbrella there, they do not cause the sun to stop shining. They can't. Please see that. Okay. Now, if some breeze comes and blows away the cloud, then the sun's rays, which were there all the time, now they can reach me. Or if I remove that umbrella, then the rays can beam down straight on my head like that. But none of the things could stop the sun from shining. In the very same way, Bhagwan's grace is there constantly, beaming out from the Lord, as though you have to say, beaming out from the Lord. Bhagwan by nature is grace. By nature only the Lord is grace. And when I remove the impurities from my mind by all the different type of sadhanas which are just spoken about, when I remove those impurities, it is like removing the cloud or removing the umbrella. Then what happens? The grace of the Lord just flows naturally, spontaneously, automatically. Bhagwan doesn't have to sit there like any shopkeeper or anything like that. So to the degree to which I remove the impurities from my mind, to the degree to which I remove the facade of the mind, to that degree, the grace of the Lord just flows, floods my own heart. That is the idea. So the first idea of Bhagwan sitting there and dispensing grace based on my what I can offer, you please remove that. Bhagwan is not doing any such thing. His grace is constantly flowing. Right? It is for me, it is for the taking. But I have to make the effort to get it. What happened to this sound? Good. Sound check. I'm not hearing anything now. So, but everybody else can hear me? So I was saying that the grace of Bhagwan is always now. It is my effort that is going to let the grace flow through me. That is what is required from my side. From Bhagwan's side, nothing is required. Nothing is required from the sun side. He's doing what it does. The sun is doing what it does. Bhagwan does what he does. Or Bhagwan is what he is. His nature is grace. So I have to do something. Okay, so now, what exactly is the grace? You have to think along these lines. I just give some hint, because grace is a very, what we call a very subtle concept in all traditions. So now see. If I, nice example is given by our Puja Guruji when we study Upadesha Sara. If I plant, see right outside here, I planted something called same. That is called a flat bean. Some nice bean, right? I planted beans here. Now, I dug the earth, till the soil a little bit, removed the weeds, and I put some seed there. Then I gave some water. Now the bean comes up in a vine, creeper. So then I had to put something for the creeper to go up like that. So I'm doing all of these things, right? So now there are several things involved there. And because it is dry season, I have to also give water. Okay. So now see how many things required. I till the soil, I sow the seed, then I protect it also by putting that something, means help it, give it some help. Then I have to give it water. Then I have to make sure that it gets sufficient sunlight also. So if there's some branches there, I cut those branches and let the sun come down on those beans, on that bean creeper. Okay. Now I do all of these things. Now really, nice big bean tree came there, big bean creeper came there. I don't know whether that bean creeper will give any bean. I have to wait and see. Some flowers will come. Then bees came and they pollinate those flowers. And then beans came. Bees came and then beans came. Now so many things are happening there, right? But there is only so much that I can do. And then the rest will have to be left to the elements and left to the greater force in nature, isn't it? So I can till the soil and sow the seed and put the stick there for the creeper to go up and give water and give sunlight. There's so much I can do. But there are certain things which are totally out of my hand, isn't it? Now, in the universe, for the beings to come, so all the things must come together. See, even that bean seed must have a genetic information. The bean seed must have genetic information, and the genetic information will order the elements around, air, light, water, whatever, all these different things around. The genetic information will order all of the elements and it will produce a bean. Now, that ordering by the genetic information in the seed, really, that I have no control over it, isn't it? But see, once I have put the first 50%, let's just put a number, no, not 50%, we can't say, I have put the first 50% of the requirements. The Prakriti is waiting, or the Prakriti is there standby to put its 50%. But had I not put the first 50%, what the Prakriti will do? Nothing. So that is the grace of the Prakriti. Prakriti is Bhagwan Shakti only, isn't it? It's Bhagwan's. So the grace is evoked, or the grace is invoked, if you want to say, by my first 50%. You know, in Ramayana, there's a nice example. See in this Ramayana. When Bhagwan Ram told all the monkeys, okay, now we'll build a bridge here. All monkeys, all bears, all squirrels, everybody came there and they built a bridge. And Bhagwan Ram started walking on that bridge. Remember, there's a huge army of monkeys, trillions of monkeys, it is said, were there. Bhagwan Ram in front, and they started walking on that bridge. After taking a few footsteps only, all the ocean creatures sent message, because they can communicate. Even today, science is telling whales from the North Pole can communicate with whales from the South Pole. underwater, some communication there. So like that, all the ocean creatures communicated with each other, and they said, whenever Bhagwan comes, he comes and walks on the land, this is the first time he is walking over the ocean. This will be our only chance to get his darshan. All the ocean creatures came there, and on the side of the bridge, they formed another bridge 10 times bigger than this bridge. 10 times bigger than Bhagwan's bridge. And when monkeys saw, Arey, here is a 10 times bigger available bridge, monkeys started walking on this bridge of ocean creatures. Because how many ocean creatures are there? Countless. So they form such a big bridge. Then Hanumanji asked Jamwant, Arey, look at the size of that bridge. Why didn't we do that in the beginning? So we had to bring mountain peak from everywhere, Himalayas and everywhere to make this. And look, that one is 10 times bigger. We should have just summoned all the ocean creatures and all and make that bridge. And Jamwan told a very nice thing, If we did not make this bridge here, Bhagwan Ram would have had no place to walk. And had Bhagwan Ram not walked, no ocean creatures would have come. So the producing of the second bridge is contingent on the producing of the first bridge. In the very same way, grace works. So the Prakriti, everything around is there waiting to bless my effort. Puja Gurudev had nice, wonderful phrases for all of these things. He used to call it the productive potential in a particular field. That thing is productive potential in a particular field is just waiting to bless my effort. In the very same way, Bhagwan's grace is waiting to propel me forward. But if I don't put my first 50% or whatever percent of effort, nothing will happen. You see, Bhagwan's grace is just waiting to propel me forward on the path. That is the idea. And this path to devotion, specifically we are speaking here. So like that, the kripa of the sages, which is nothing but the kripa of Bhagwan only through the sages. Mahat kripaya eva bhagavad kripa leshat va. By a little kripa of the, and why is it a little kripa of the Lord? If you want to just look for a reason for the sage saying like this, easy thing. How many countless saints are there? So many countless saints are there. Na? And whatever we add up all the kripa of all the saints, that only amounts to a little kripa of Bhagwan also, because he's infinite kripa. Like that. So like that we can see also. Mukhyataha mahat kripaya eva bhagavad kripa leshadva. So the grace of the sages and saints are very important. Now, one person had come to our Puja Gurudev and he told, why do I have to come and listen to you everywhere? Why do I have to come and attend your satsang? You have so many videos and so many books, and I can go and look at your videos or read your books and I'll be fine. There's no need for me to come. Why do I have to come? Gurudev said, why didn't you ask this question to the book? What a wonderful, and his answers used to be so, what we in Trinidad we call slick. So on the spot, spontaneous, immediate. So many people feel that we don't need gurus and we don't need sages and saints and teachers and all of that sort of thing. That is only our ego playing games with us. Anybody who feels like that, his ego is just playing games with him. That is all, nothing more than that. And sometime, at some stage in his journey of evolution, he'll have to overcome that thing. And no, I don't need gurus and I don't need sage. And usually it is the ego, ahankar, teaming up with a blind intellect. I'm not saying an intellect which doesn't know anything. Huh? That may be a very sharp intellect. Tikshna buddhi. Very sharp intellect. But it need not be Shuddha Buddhi. So usually it is an intellect like that which is blinded in terms of anything higher, is very sharp about worldly things. That type of intellect teaming up with the ego results in this type of feeling. What is that? I don't need gurus and I don't need these Mahatmas and all. They're all charlatans. Puja Gurudev also realized that very early, isn't it? But why he had gone to Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj? Because that intellect had teamed up with the ego. I'm going to expose all of these. What con men, and quickly he realized, ha 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 ha. That means that ego got a good beating, very fast. You see, so at some stage in every jiva's journey, jiva who is thinking like that, he will have to overcome that, and the quicker the better. So you just think from an ordinary standpoint. Look here, everything in our life, every single little ordinary thing, we have to be taught by somebody else. I remember in primary school, they used to come there with a big mouth like this with teeth. And then that lady from the Ministry of Health used to take a toothbrush and say, you have to brush like this. You don't remember that thing? You have to teach everything. How to brush this way, that way. Somebody, you may not have remembered, but somebody taught everything somewhere along the line. Otherwise, we'll not know. Even if they did not teach verbally, they demonstrated how that thing is to be done. So for every ordinary thing in the world, we need some teacher, we need some guide, some mentor, some person to demonstrate. For any ordinary thing, what to talk about this most subtle science and all? How people can say, no, we don't need gurus. No, actually, how people can say means I also used to say, so I better don't tell like that. How people can say, we say. We don't need. But that teacher has to be there, and his grace also has to be. If he's there and I'm in his company, his grace will come. I have to access that. That is the idea. And that is Bhagwan's grace only. All the grace of the whole Santa Gana is really just a minuscule part of Bhagwan's. But that is all we need. Okay. Now we will leave it there and we will pick up tomorrow. It tells how difficult it is to get the grace of sages. Not so easy. All right. So for those who have questions, you can write and then we will deal with them. Now today is what, Wednesday? 3 days. 3 days are left. So on Saturday we're having Q&A after class or part of class? Part of the class. Okay. All right. We'll see how we can, because I gave up till 48. Huh? Okay. This other section also is very nice. Kastarati Maya. Like that will come. All right. We'll see how we can work both class and question and answers. Okay. So you can write your questions and all. And I'll see them on Saturday. That's anything we have to tell? Yes. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.